Hey y'all, long time no see. Over the past year I released my first book, and let's get into how I did that. So if you're new to me, my name is Tania Deshawn. I'm a writer, and so basically what I do is I write, I perform, I do workshops. So this year, some things that I've been able to accomplish is the main thing for me was releasing and self-publishing my book. I will be coming out with a course for this as well, so if you're interested, stay tuned. So, self-published, had a huge event at the Birmingham Public Library. Thank you so much, I love y'all. Our state poet laureate, Ashley M. Jones, who is like such a phenomenal human being, just period. She moderated. We had Queen, we had Lauren, we had Dewana Thompson. Y'all, just phenomenal Black women. When I was thinking about the space I wanted to curate, I wanted to recreate this moment that I had when I went to Berea College, and it was it was a Black woman writer symposium, and the theme was like nature, and that was the first time I was in a room full of Black women who wrote as their profession. And when I tell you, that changed my life. So when I wanted to create my event, I just felt like I wanted to recreate that moment, like of just being fully immersed in just like Black woman magic. And so that's what I did, and I felt like there were people there who like the message resonated with. They got to see women of different walks of life. And yeah, when I was in Kentucky for that symposium, it just felt like, oh my gosh, we exist. That's how I felt. And then my thought process around this now, and this is just for anyone in general, you know, people like to say, you know, first Black this, first Black woman that, first queer Black person this, and kudos, but I don't want to ever be in the mindset where I think having achievements and being Black and being marginalized means that it's rare. Now, is there a truth in that it's rare in the system that we live in here as Black Americans, as Black Southern Americans? Maybe yes. But if we look at our Blackness in an international and a global sense, Black women, Black people have been thriving. Like, it's not new to us in a global sense. And so that's something that I personally hold on to. Whenever I'm making strides, I'm like, I'm not the first. And it's okay to be the first. But for me specifically, this is something that I think keeps me mentally strong, is to think I'm not the first, period. Like, I'm not. Like, I come from a people with a long history of succeeding. And I come from a history of people who are brilliant. And I think sometimes for me, yeah, that's how I think about things. So anyways, I'm about to head to the gym. I got on the scale and it was like, you 10 pounds heavier, sis. And I mean, I'm still cute, always cute. But at the same time, I'm like, 10 pounds in 2 months is a lot. So maybe I just been eating good. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, so I'm about to go to the gym. Y'all can tag along too if you want. Okay, another gem for artists. If you have trouble working from home, try going to a local co-working space. I know they have those for different mediums. Y'all get to the big. Get into it. So my vision for 2023 is to revamp my podcast for Element Agape, doing affirmations and things. So I'm here and just getting that done. I'm focused. Do people, I'm thinking. Oh, okay, he's thinking.
What? I'm thinking.
He's thinking. I was really trying to do like the things where you record, but I was like, it was like if somebody could read my list. So I'm like, I'm just pretending to be focused. All right, y'all, we're recording. I don't even know where to look. Where should I look? Anyways, so one of the things I wanted to talk about on my entrepreneur journey too is that the part where you don't just quit your job. Now mine was a little bit different because I was facing some discrimination in the workplace. Basically, I was not getting a bonus, which is like something you're absolutely not entitled to. But when it's being distributed to people not based on the work that they do, that's when it becomes discriminatory. And then on top of that, I was being asked to mentor people who they wanted to promote above me, and they definitely did, and I was definitely correcting some mistakes along with other people on the team. And so I respectfully said that I'm gone. And so that's what happened with that. I was definitely just being called out of that space. Things were picking up for me, which I don't recommend. I don't recommend because I have support systems that allow me to do that. But if you don't just quit your job. If I could have done it that way, I definitely would have maintained my job and maintained working steadily. And I think the key to doing that is to have a plan. If I could go back and do anything, it would be to have a plan. And I know, like, as you're stepping out on faith and then you're figuring out what works for you and what doesn't, it can be hard for you to develop that. But one of the things I have in my 3-goal planner is basically how to do that. And I'll put a link over here to buy it. And then I also do workshops based on it as well. I don't know if I'll record them in time. Actually, no, because this should be out by tomorrow. So I won't have a session recorded. But if you find this video in time at the end of January, the last January and Saturday, I'll be going over that as well. And that's how I accomplished the things that I did this year, is through doing this planner. But anyway, so 1, don't just quit your job if you can help it. And I say this because you don't want to be in the point where you're working so hard to like pay your bills and get your needs met that you are no longer enjoying it and you're doing stuff just to get paid. Because, like, what's the difference between that and, like, you'll start to not like it. Then 2 things can be unpredictable. If you have deals with people, like contracts, because what can happen is people can give you their word. A lot of the times it works out, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's also due to circumstances that they cannot control, especially if you work with, like, people who rely on grants. A lot of the programming that I was able to do was based on grants, and I tell people straight up, like, if I don't get this funding, you're not getting paid. I said it in a very professional way, but, like, that's what it was. And that happens a lot, especially when you're working, like, I forgot the word, like, across, like, people working up with people, which is something else that I recommend. Don't be like, like, we all want to meet Oprah. I get it. We want to meet Beyonce. We want to meet Issa Rae. It's going to happen. It's bound to happen. Like, it's going to happen. But until then, work with the people in your community. That's where you're going to get the most traction. That's where you are going to... That's where you're going to, it was a motorcycle. That's where you're going to really just find your people. And I think that's the most beautiful part about it. So yeah, don't quit your job. If you can, work and then plan. And then, challenge for that step. Somebody else put me onto this. If you can take the money from your main gig, your full-time gig, whatever your main source of income is, put all of that into savings and live off of what you bring in on your art, that's when you know you're doing something. So that, I'm just giving y'all that to you because if I had it my way, I wouldn't have done it. Okay, then the second one, plan. Third one, work with people who are at the same level as you. And then what other tips do I have? Don't be discouraged. People always say consistency. Remember why you're doing stuff. And I'll give this example. Even when I post stuff on Facebook, I get like 2 or 3 likes, but I'm still gonna post something. And then when I post on Instagram, I get like 23 likes, still gonna post something. And then when I get to TikTok, I might get 90 things, still posting stuff. And I know people who are influencers, they got 1 million followers. Okay, I'm not there yet. Doesn't mean I won't be there, but that also doesn't gauge how valuable your work is and the work that you're able to do, which goes on to the next part, which is do for self. Don't always wait for opportunities to just present themselves the way you're expecting. It might not be like, for example, when I had the, I'm gonna call it a book launch. When I had the book launch for Be Gentle with Black Girls at the Birmingham Public Library, the opportunity was there. It just wasn't formed all the way together and put on a silver platter. Like, I literally was like, this would be awesome. And if I had this event, I would want there to be like an oral history telling station. I want a panel discussion to create a beautiful Black girl magic opportunity. I want book signing. I want there to be a Q&A. And then I want people to write poetry. Like, that was the vision. And I was like, oh, how do I do that? And somebody just told me about a grant or something. Actually, no, I was in Kentucky. I was in Kentucky at Southern Fried Poetry Slam, and Chata Noir, she is phenomenal. She, it was only 3 of us who showed up to this workshop. Meanwhile, you paid for it. Like, nobody was showing up to this stuff. I don't know, maybe they were doing international poet stuff. I don't know what they was doing. Maybe it was getting ready for their bouts, but nobody was at these workshops for real. So I went to one, there was 3 of us there. And long story short, she was like, since y'all, it's only y'all here, I'm gonna give y'all free sessions. Jesus. So anyways, long story short, we had a session. She put me on how to apply to grants, just walked up, and I will pull up like in a positive way, not gang, not doing that. But I pulled up at the library and I just walked into the office. At first I called them and they're like, oh yeah, da, 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 da. I walked into them folks' office because that's how I get down. I used to work at a maintenance place, and I understand people have stuff, they live in their lives. Sometimes they just need to see your face, have an actual in-person human interaction to like keep them in your mind so you're not just some name in their email inbox. So I pulled up, met the most wonderful people ever. Long story short, we applied to the grant, had so much help and support. I love y'all, Birmingham Public Library. And that's how the event happened. Long story short, opportunity was there. I had the vision, had to meet people, had to have my eyes, ears, heart open to the opportunity, which goes to the next point. This train. Y'all. So anywho, next point, I know you're scared. Listen, I know you're scared, but you have to get out of your comfort zone. I meet so many people who are like, I'm afraid. I'm afraid too. When I get on stage, I take my glasses off. I learned that from some dope poets around town. But I take my glasses off and I do my thing. My heart is like this, like this. And I still go out there and do my thing because when you are in environments where you weren't necessarily exposed to arts, or you weren't encouraged to share your voice, or you just naturally have a nature that leans towards anxiety, you're going to be afraid. And the way that I think of it is like, I actually had like this vision, and it was like, I was in a desert somewhere on this journey, in a desert on a camel, and it was like these things attaching to the camel, but it was like me, like, but they were trying to get to me. And it was like, wherever I was going, those things represented fear, but they didn't have what it took to last the journey. So as I was going through, like, they would just, like, the fear things that were clinging onto this camel would just fall off. They just fall off. And so you might be in that season where you feel like you're alone in the desert, where the opportunities, I think I see a cactus, like, and all these fears and doubts are trying to cling on to you, but they don't have what it takes to withstand the journey, but you do. And you just have to believe in that. You just have to believe that what you have is worth pursuing. If you can think of it, can conceive it, you can deliver that to the people around you, and you don't know who might be freed because of that. You don't know who might be inspired because of that. You don't know what healing is attached to that as well. There's no mistake that we're taught to work, eat, sleep, party, repeat, you know, like there's no mistake. But there are so many people who need you. So do it afraid, and then you'll have new fears as you go on, and those will fall away. And then it's just part of living. So make sure you live and do what you want. But yeah, that's what I got for y'all right now. Good morning. This is the last day of the vlog. So I think I got some footage from the event. So I was at my dear sister gal, Shekinah's event yesterday. And I woke up and I was like, well, now this is what happened. I was talking to my other sister and I was like, I'm thinking about wearing this for New Year's. And she was like, ugh. And I was like, well, she wasn't like, ugh, that's how I articulate myself. She was definitely like, it's not giving New Year's. And I was like, what is it giving? And she was like, not New Year's. So I'm about to go find me a little cheap something and make it do what it do, because I'm gonna have a good, you know, New Year's Eve party celebration time. What else is going on? Yeah, girl, I was just like, well, I'm saying girl, fellas, y'all too. If you can't tell, I'm still waking up. But yeah, so we're on our way to probably, like, I don't know, Play-Dohs or something like that. Maybe I'll throw something. What else do I want to say to you guys? So I'm trying to get air in my tires and everything looks like it's shut down, but I'm hopeful. So I'm gonna walk over there and see if they're open. All right, so air has been placed in tires. I don't know if other people do that. I definitely don't know how to put air in my tires. And I always go to like a Walmart Auto Care or like just a local tire shop. And they're always more than happy to, you know, put air in my tires. So if you're ever in the position where you don't know how, or you absolutely can't for whatever reason, pull up on them because they'll just fill it up for you. So I am concluding the vlog. The vlog is over. I know that was not a good wrap up of the vlog, but there was so much that I was trying to pack into this video. A year in a video is a lot. So instead, I'm just gonna focus on like artist self-publishing tips every month. So that's what this is going to turn into, along with vlogging. Vlogging makes me really happy, so that's what I'll do. Until then, Happy New Year's. It's gonna be your year, y'all.